Before anyone begins an inner journey, one thing must be understood clearly. You are not walking on a road that can be seen. There are no signs here, no directions, no milestones telling you how far you've come. The outer world at least pretends to guide you. Roads have names, distances are marked. Someone can always tell you where you are. Inside, there is nothing like that. And that is why people get lost within themselves far more easily than they ever get lost outside. Most people begin without knowing what kind of territory they are entering. They knock on doors without knowing what kind of locks they will face. They try to open spaces without understanding what holds them shut. So before moving inward, a quiet familiarity with the terrain is not optional, it is protective. Because wandering blindly inside is not spiritual courage, it is confusion disguised as bravery. What you call your body is only the surface. It is the outermost layer of something much deeper. There are other bodies within this body, layers of existence moving inward. And if you begin the journey honestly, you will have to pass through them. You cannot reach yourself directly. Between you and yourself stand several subtle thresholds. Ignoring them doesn't remove them, it only makes the passage dangerous. The first layer beneath the physical is not mental, it is energetic, a field of vitality, a current. This body keeps the physical one alive. Even when the physical collapses, this current lingers for a while. That is why death is not as instantaneous as it appears. Some cultures learned this early. They did not delay separation, because the longer the energy remains attached, the more it wanders, confused, pulled backward, unfinished. This energetic body is electrical in nature. Long before modern science spoke of electricity, ancient practitioners had already encountered it. That is why ancient practices were careful about contact with the ground, wood, animal skin, isolation. Not symbolism, safety. Because when energy discharges uncontrolled, it doesn't just disturb, it can destroy. This same energy is responsible for attraction, not psychological attraction, energetic polarity. One body carries a positive charge, another a receptive one. This is not about gender as society defines it. It is about flow. But something strange happens when awareness deepens. The current that once rushed outward begins to turn inward. And the moment that happens, identity loosens. Man and woman cease to feel like fixed realities. They become costumes, once worn, now unnecessary. There is an old story of a man sitting silently beneath a tree. People ran past him, chasing pleasure, chasing escape. A naked woman ran too, terrified. Later they asked him which way she went. He said he saw someone running, but whether it was a man or a woman, he could no longer tell. When the inner polarity dissolves, the outer distinctions lose urgency. What you are determines what you see, nothing else. You are always searching, but rarely for what you think. You say you're searching for people, love, connection. But deeper than that, you are searching for completion. An incomplete energy seeks another. That hunger is not emotional, it is structural. And until it is understood, you will keep mistaking bodies for answers. Inside this energetic field, there are points of contact, 7 of them. Not physical organs, junctions, places where energy touches matter, where the invisible powers the visible. These points shape personality before thought ever appears. Understanding them is not mystical curiosity, it is practical orientation, because you cannot begin a journey without knowing where you stand. Most people only know where they want to go. They never ask where they are starting from. That is why effort exhausts them and progress feels imaginary. This is not a philosophy, it is a map. And maps don't promise arrival. They prevent unnecessary wandering. If you watch carefully, you will notice something strange. Your energy is never neutral. It is always moving towards something or away from something. Rest is rare, stillness even rarer. Most of the time, your life is lived in attraction and avoidance, and both come from the same place. The first deep junction inside the body lies at the base of your existence, the sexual center. Not sex as morality understands it, not sex as society discusses it, but sex as movement, a push outward, a longing to merge, a desire to lose boundaries. This is not dirty, this is not sacred. It is simply biological intelligence, life wanting to continue itself. But here is where confusion begins. Because this center is powerful, so powerful that if awareness does not grow alongside it, it begins to dominate. Then the whole life becomes a servant to one force. Thoughts rearrange themselves around it. Ambitions borrow its fuel. Relationships become strategies. And slowly, without noticing, you stop living, you start chasing. This is why so many people feel restless even when nothing is wrong. The body is calm, the mind is occupied, yet something inside keeps knocking. Not because something is missing, but because energy is overflowing without direction. This center is outward moving. Its joy lies in release. That is why pleasure feels like relief. For a moment, the pressure drops, but only for a moment. Because release is not resolution, and what is not resolved returns, stronger, more demanding. Here lies the great misunderstanding. People think indulgence will end desire. It doesn't. It only trains desire to demand more, just like scratching an itch never cures the skin. Oppression fails too. Suppression doesn't stop energy, it poisons it. What you push down doesn't disappear. It becomes distorted, anger without a reason, sadness without a cause, anxiety without a threat. Energy denied its expression finds darker exits. Osho never asked you to indulge. He never asked you to suppress. He asked you to see. Because awareness does something strange. It doesn't fight energy, it transforms it. When awareness enters this center, a subtle reversal begins. Energy that once rushed outward starts curving inward, not through force, through understanding. And when that happens, something entirely new appears: creativity. Not sexual creativity, existential creativity. Music without instruments, joy without objects, love without possession. That is why artists often appear chaotic. Their energy is half-turned, not fully outward, not fully inward. They live between release and refinement. But most people never reach even this confusion. They remain stuck at the first gate, either addicted or ashamed, and both are chains. This center also explains obsession, why one person becomes everything, why rejection feels like death, why separation feels unbearable. It is not love that hurts you, it is energy collapse. When the outward current loses its object, it crashes back violently, and the mind misnames this pain as heartbreak. The truth is harder. You were leaning on someone else's presence to carry your inner pressure. When they leave, you are left alone with force you never learned to handle. This is why meditation begins here, not in silence, not in peace, but in raw sensation, breath, pulse, heat. Because unless this energy is understood, anything above it remains unstable. People want to jump directly to peace, but peace without integration is fragile. The slightest desire shatters it. When this center matures, desire does not disappear. It evolves, from craving to celebration, from need to sharing, from hunger to abundance. And only then is the path upward possible. Because only grounded energy can rise. Unstable force burns itself out. If desire is the first outward movement of energy, fear is the first inward shock. And the place where this shock is registered is not the mind, it is the belly.
Watch yourself closely the next time fear appears. Not dramatic fear, simple fear. A sudden sound, a sharp turn, an unexpected threat. Before a single thought forms, your stomach tightens, breath falters, the center contracts. Fear has already happened before the mind begins to explain it. That is because fear is not psychological, it is biological intelligence. It belongs to survival, not philosophy. And survival lives in the center of the body. This center, the navel, is the meeting point of energy and instinct. Here, life decides whether to expand or to protect itself. When danger appears, this center pulls inward. That pulling is fear.
This is why fear always feels like collapse, as if something inside is shrinking, as if the body is preparing to defend, hide, or run. And this is also why fear destroys digestion. The same center that processes life now switches to protection. Growth pauses, repair pauses. Survival takes precedence. Chronic fear creates chronic illness, not metaphorically, physiologically. The stomach becomes acidic. The intestines lose rhythm. The body forgets how to rest. This is not stress. This is unprocessed fear. People ask why anxiety feels endless. Because the navel was never taught how to relax. Fear has another quality. It seeks authority. When fear dominates, you want someone bigger than you. A protector, a savior, a God who can threaten on your behalf. This is how fear creates religion. Not devotion, dependency. Fear does not bow out of love. It bows out of helplessness. Hands folded, head lowered. The body already knows the posture before belief enters. That is why prayer activates the belly, not the heart, not the head. The stomach tightens, while the lips whisper hope. And this is also why fear-based religions flourish when societies are uncertain. When survival feels fragile, faith rises. Not because truth is found, but because safety is sought. The stronger the navel, the less frightening God needs to be. The weaker the navel, the more terrifying God becomes. This is also why fear is gendered. Not socially, biologically. Pregnancy weakens the center. Creation demands surrender. The body must open, and openness invites vulnerability. This is not inferiority. It is cost. When fear dominates the belly, the mind becomes obedient. Not intelligent, obedient. You follow. You believe. You obey. Because thinking requires stability. Fear destabilizes. Look at your own life. Where fear is strongest, thinking is weakest. Decisions feel impossible. Courage feels imaginary. This is not a character flaw. It is a center imbalance. Fear also shapes culture. When the belly rules, symbols become violent. Gods punish. Heaven threatens. Hell waits. Morality replaces understanding. Fear needs structure, rules, rituals, repetition, anything predictable. That is why fear hates uncertainty, and awareness lives in uncertainty. This is why fear and meditation are natural enemies. Meditation loosens control. Fear demands it. But here is the paradox. Fear cannot be defeated. It must be understood. The navel does not need courage. It needs strength. Not muscular strength. Energetic stability. Ancient warriors knew this.
They trained the belly, not the arms, not the mind. Because when the center is firm, fear passes through without anchoring. This is also why sudden fear can empty the body. The system releases weight to survive faster. This is not shameful. It is ancient intelligence. Fear is efficient, but it becomes destructive when permanent. And here lies the greatest misunderstanding. People try to think fear away. You cannot think a center into balance. The mind is downstream. Fear is upstream. The belly must be met directly. Not with courage, not with belief, but with attention. Attention strengthens. Neglect weakens. Whatever you look at grows stable. Whatever you avoid becomes reactive. Fear lives in the belly, because that is where life learned to survive. And until that center is understood, no philosophy will liberate you. When fear no longer dominates the belly, something else begins to appear. Not freedom yet. Warmth. A pull toward closeness. The need to belong. Energy that once protected itself now seeks connection. It rises from survival into attachment, from fear into love. But this love is not yet liberation. It is bonding. This is the heart center. Here, life stops asking, "How do I survive?" and begins asking, "With whom do I belong?" This center is softer, more vulnerable, more poetic, but also more entangling. People confuse this love with the highest truth because it feels beautiful. And compared to fear, it is beautiful. But beauty can still bind. The heart seeks permanence. It wants roots. It wants continuity. A home. A family. A story that does not break. This is where civilization is born. Not from intelligence, from attachment. Homes exist because hearts fear separation. Families exist because hearts seek continuity. Traditions exist because hearts want familiarity. And this center, more than any other, creates suffering through pleasure. Because it gives, but it also clings. Love here is conditional. Not because it is immoral, but because it is afraid to lose. This is why love hurts. Not because love is wrong, but because it is mixed with fear's memory. When attachment dominates, you love, but you also control. You care, but you also demand. You give, but you also expect. And expectations poison tenderness. This center is powerful enough to build societies, but not strong enough to dissolve ego. That is why families both protect and suffocate. Why love both heals and imprisons. The heart is a bridge, not a destination. Cultures that strengthen the heart build stable worlds. Cultures that weaken it fall into isolation. This is why societies collapse when bonding dissolves. Because fear returns. And when fear returns, violence follows. You can see this happening now. Love weakening. Fear rising. Not because people are worse, but because centers are unbalanced. The heart center is more active in women, Not socially, biologically, because bonding is required for continuity. This is why women hold families together. Not because of ideology, because of energetic design. Men often live on the periphery of attachment. Women live at its core. This is not superiority. It is function. And this is also why men escape, wander, seek distance. The heart does not anchor them as deeply. Neither is wrong. Both are incomplete. The danger comes when people stop here, mistaking attachment for awakening, mistaking emotion for truth. Devotional religions are born here. Singing, tears, surrender. But surrender without awareness becomes dependency. This is why devotion often replaces thinking, and why thinking threatens devotion. The heart wants to melt. The mind wants to see. Conflict is inevitable. But love does not have to end here. It can evolve.
When awareness enters the heart, attachment loosens without disappearing. Love remains. Ownership dissolves. Care remains. Fear exits. This is the first taste of freedom, but it is not the final one. Because above the heart lies expression, voice, thought. And unless expression is purified, love remains sentimental, and sentimentality cannot sustain truth. Above the heart lies expression, voice, thought, the ability to shape inner movement into direction. This is the throat center. Here, energy becomes language, not just words, but concepts, beliefs, ideas, explanations. This is where people start living in their heads, thinking endlessly, talking endlessly, explaining endlessly, but rarely changing. When this center dominates without grounding, life becomes commentary. You understand everything, yet nothing shifts. You know what is right, yet do what is familiar. This is why many intelligent people remain trapped. They see clearly, but cannot move, because insight without authority is impotent. Above thought lies command, the center between the eyes, not imagination, not visualization, decision. This is where a human being becomes sovereign or remains dependent. Most people believe they lack discipline. They don't. They lack will. And will is not a moral quality. It is an energetic function. That is why promises collapse, why resolutions fail, why determination dissolves by morning. You decide at night, but in the morning, another voice takes over, because the decision was never rooted in authority. This center is weak in most people, from childhood, because we were given commands instead of being taught command. We were told what to do, rarely taught how to decide. A child whose will is never exercised grows into an adult who obeys impulses, not others' impulses. That is the deepest slavery. When this center awakens, something irreversible happens. You stop negotiating with yourself. A thought arises, you see it. An impulse arises, you decide. Emotion appears, you contain it. Not through suppression, through presence. This is the difference between control and command. Control is tension. Command is clarity. Stories exist of people who could stop in mid-action, freeze, not because they were rigid, but because they were available to themselves.
When this center is alive, you don't need techniques. Techniques are substitutes for authority. This is why meditation works only when attention deepens. Attention feeds centers. Neglect starves them. The moment attention stabilizes here, your inner chaos reorganizes, not slowly, instantly, because will is not gradual, it is binary, either present or absent. This is also why words from such a person carry weight, not because they are loud, because they are aligned. A sentence spoken from will lands. A sentence spoken from fear floats. This is why real teachers are dangerous, not because they manipulate, because their words work. Once this center is active, you must be careful. Your wishes gain momentum, your thoughts gain velocity, your silence gains gravity. This is why ancient traditions warned, do not speak carelessly once inner authority is born. At the peak of this journey lies silence, not emptiness, integration. All centers aligned, energy no longer fragmented, no craving below, no fear tightening, no noise dominating, no indecision delaying. This is not enlightenment, it is readiness. From here, meditation deepens on its own, not because you try, but because nothing resists. Fear no longer rules the belly. Desire no longer hijacks energy. Love no longer imprisons. Thought no longer distracts. Will no longer wavers. And in that alignment, something subtle appears. Not achievement, not bliss. Freedom without excitement. That freedom does not shout, it does not promise, it does not convince. It simply is.
Do not think about this. Tonight, sit quietly. Place your hand gently on the belly. Breathe without control. Don't try to remove fear. Just feel the center. Awareness is the real method. If you can feel it, it is already changing.